Hello everyone and welcome back to Bitwig Studio Music Production. This is lesson 2.07 and in this lesson we're going to talk about some advanced stretching functionality and situations inside of Bitwig Studio. In this example, I'm going to take a track that was not made specifically on a grid like this, but it was recorded back live, probably to a click track or something like that, and then, they processed the track and did what they had to do. I'll tell you, like I've said in the other videos, there are different ways to do this, and this is just my logic and way of approaching it. And I'm doing this specifically in the goal that if we can line this up properly, we should be able to analyze the track and see some logic to when parts are changing. Okay, so here's a track we're going to use. It's by Lykke Li from her first album called Little Bit. And let's just take a listen back. I'm going to go into the inspector. I'm going to click on my audio event. And I'll change my mode down here to raw for right now so we don't have to worry about the tempo. Let's put this back to what its default is at. And I'm going to click play. Okay, so what we heard there is where that sort of first big beat is coming in. So I know that that is supposed to be aligned, for at least our purposes, specifically with the grid, and I need to track from there. Right now, it's coming up like, I don't know, at like a 7/4, but this is also on our 110 grid, so that's not even helpful anyway. What we have to do is try to determine what the BPM of this track is, or come pretty close. All right, if we're like plus or minus 1 BPM, we'll still be fine and we'll be able to come up with something that's very close to the original track's tempo and its original layout. Well, Bitwig has done a pretty good job with this track. They've determined the tempo to be 120.47. Unfortunately, there's no tap tempo button inside of Bitwig Studio. It's something they probably will have to add at a later date if they want this program to be used by DJs regularly. But I put this into a different program and I tap the tempo all the way out. So basically I'm playing it back and I'm like. And when I did that, I came up with something like 120.35. It was around there. So we're gonna just go in the middle and let's change our mode to Stretch HD. And I'm gonna change the tempo down here to 120.4. That should be close. That's all you need to be, is pretty close. And then I'll change our global to match that. All right, now let's play it back with the click and see what's happening. All right, so that's not really lining up for us, but the pulses seem to be coming at the right duration. They're just not falling correctly here with our actual beats, as you can tell. It doesn't sound good at all. So the next thing I'm going to do with this track specifically is I want to make sure that we're in 4/4 time. And if I know that, I can really logically place where I want this clip to go on the timeline, because I'll put it on one of these intervals of 4, 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, etc., etc. So let me play back and let's just count this out and see if this is in 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, verse. All right, so that to me is indicating we're in 4/4 time. You're normally going to be, but just in case you're not, you'll know when you're counting and your 4s and it's not lining up at all with where changes are happening in the song. So here's where I'm going to start doing some interesting stuff. I'm going to take the first downbeat, which is, let's see, right here, right around this like 8.2, somewhere between 8.2 and 8.3. What I want to do is I want to line this spot up with my 9 here on my timeline. Why do I want to do that? Well, if my blocks of the arrangement are going in sets of 4s, if I can line up my 1 here on the 9, then it should make sense going forward where we'll see changes at like the 17, the 25, etc., etc., etc. So this is where I'm literally just going to zoom in closely and I'm going to try to line this up. So this is where it is. I got to pull that over. And I'm literally going to try to get this like as close as I possibly can for right now. All right, that's good enough for me. So let's go ahead and actually find that first transient, which is probably like right here, that first hit of the kick. Maybe it's a little further back. I'll double click, select it, make sure that it's turning light blue, and I'll pull this back and snap it right there to the 9. And now let's take a listen from our 9 spot. And we're pretty good, just like that. We've almost gotten it exactly like we'd want it to be. A few things though, when you're dealing with a track like this, guaranteed as we go further and further down this line, it's going to get out of time because this has been recorded live. There's nuance in the performance. It's part of what makes the performance so amazing, but it also kills us as DJs if we can't make those good loops and have it flowing and mixing with other tracks. So in this case, what I'd probably do is go every 4 or 8 bars and just check it and maybe pull it back or pull it forward to keep it on beat. So let's just take a listen here. Okay, so let's check this 13, see what we got going on. All right, we look pretty good. I could probably pull it back a little if I want, but for now I'm going to keep it. I don't mind that too much. You can check our 17. Oop. Yep, now we're definitely off. So if I probably pull that back a wee bit. So as we talked about before, this is actually shifting all of the audio before and after until it reaches that next stretch point. So the stretch marker, excuse me. So from this 9 to this 17, we've now kind of pushed everything back a little, but now when we reach the 17 point, it's right on. All right, I'd probably pull this back a little bit too. And now you're literally going to have to go through the whole track and kind of do that if you're planning to play it like all the way through start to finish and you want to keep things on beat. The more you do it, the more you're going to lose the nuance of the performance, but the more accurate you will be to the grid. So we could, of course, like jump way further ahead and go to this 97 point and see how far off we are, and we are off by quite a bit. So I would have to come in here. I'm not really doing this super technically at this point. Pull it back, and it's obviously shifted all of my audio back a little bit. And so, you know, now some things might be a little bit more or less on or off, but this is just how you'd have to do it. So now at least. Here we go. Okay, so I would have to go in and make a lot more changes if I wanted, but this is really the way to start this process when working with a track that's been recorded by live musicians in real time and not directly to the grid. It follows the exact same guidelines. You're just gonna have to go in and make more stretch markers. And chances are, if you're a DJ, you might just be looking for like one little 4-bar loop. And so if there is a spot in here, like, I don't know, let's just see if we can find something that we like. So let's just go to the 65 mark here, and let's try to make a loop that is somewhat usable. I don't know, so just... Huh. Well, I was expecting that to be a lot worse. Let's extend this a little bit. No pun intended there. Wow. Well, we got really lucky, didn't we? We did a better job than I thought. Okay, cool. So let's say I just wanted that loop and I was gonna drop it in after like a different traditional kind of like dance song. What I would do here is I would highlight this section, right click, split it out. All right, now it's its own audio clip. And if I wanted to, I could copy this region, go either into my mix window, or from my arrange window, I can go into our scene launcher here and I could paste that particular bit of audio. And now and of course, since we've been doing our stretching, we can change the BPM and we're gonna be fine. Let's go just to like 120. Now we can take it to an extreme. All right, pretty cool, right? So that's pretty much the essence of it. One last thing I wanted to show you though, in the context of setting this up, like if you wanted to play it in from the very first beat, what's happening right now is we don't have a real start to this track at the moment. Let me just get rid of all this stuff, clear up some space for us. So right now there's this gap at the beginning of the track, and I'm going to show you something I'm going to do to basically make this a full-length track starting on 111. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally amend the clip. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here and I'm going to just grab, let's listen to what happens at the beginning. Sorry, I have this still playing back. All right, so we have some quality static here. That will be great for a little loop material. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this and I'm going to, let's see, there's a variety of ways I can do this, but I'm going to bounce this. Actually, no, let's not do that. I'll split this region. I'm going to create a new audio track. I'll copy the region. Go back to the very beginning. And I know this is probably a little bit boring for you guys, but this could come in very handy at a later date. I'll paste it up. Let me take a listen to this. And let's go back to... All right, so once I consolidate it, it's going to give me the ability to loop this static. So I'm going to loop up until right about here is fine. Let's take a listen to this. All right, so that pretty much already did it for me. I'm going to delete this first part. Zoom in, bring this up, and now let's take a listen and see if this sounds seamless from the 111. Remember, before we had nothing here, so it was just silence. All right, so now we're in business. We've started it so that we're having something happening at the very beginning, but we're not messing around and pulling off our start from happening right at that 9-bar mark. So if we had another track and we were playing a drum fill or something, or a track is ending, there's 8 bars left, I could cue this track up at the exact same time and we'd be all good to go. So how am I gonna make that amendment permanent? Very easy. I'll take it from here. I'm gonna shift all the way so I can get everything at once. If you want more description on this, just ask, and I'll consolidate this track. And now we've got just one track straight through. We don't even have those stretch markers anymore, but our track is pretty much fully stretched and ready to go inside of a DJ set we were working on. Let's speed it up. We're going at drum and bass here. All right, sorry, I'm starting to have too much fun just playing with the metronome. That's kind of embarrassing. I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you could follow the logic and all of that. Some of it is a little bit technical and you really kind of have to understand the reasons for why you would do this. But in the future, if you're new to this, you're going to see just how helpful something like that could be. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.